Hello, YouTube. Uh, um, or my little friend along because I need a drink. Bam. And screw it. Why not? I need to say what I have to say. I want to say a lot. Take some stress off. Hey, fuck off. Listen. This is gonna be a video on several different things. I'm gonna read some news stories from let's just say a conservative's website. One who's really into conspiracy theories, and some of the things he says is true. But I'm not going to say who, because like I said, I'm not attacking the guy. I don't have anything against him. He's not as bad as a lot of other conservatives, and he's right about some things. And it's not like everybody in the left is not right either. So I'm not going to attack this guy, and I'm not going to say a word about him. I just want to read his site because his site, and say what you want about the guy. Here's the one good thing I will say about this person. His site is a lot better put together. Like the news stories are a lot easier to get to. Like I went to CNN recently, like maybe 2 weeks ago, and that site was a clusterfuck. If you go to his website, the news stories are there. Like you can get to the stuff that he's got a better organized site, so it's a lot easier to read to get the news from. So I'm going to use his news page, and I want to talk about ear piercing of girls, and I'm going to talk about genital mutilation later, boars, but not now. That comes later. I want to talk again. I'm not as against ear piercing of girls as genital mutilation, but I am against it. I just think that, obviously, if you're talking about genitals compared to ears, I think that, you're depending upon what you're doing, I think that we should talk about the board issue first, but, that's fine. I'm against girl ear piercings. I think that it can be, it hurts the girl, obviously. The girl is not consenting. Supposedly, the way the ears grow, it can cause the ears not to form right, or the piercing can mess up. Now, here's the difference. A piercing does heal. You can't grow skin back, but that still doesn't make it okay. It can cause infections. If you got an infection on your ear, and like I said, I had inner ear infection when I was a child. I can imagine that would be quite painful. And so I don't agree with that. I don't think you should do that. I'm against anyone piercing their child's ears, and I'm against anyone modifying their child's body at all in a way that is not needed, like one is needed to happen. And I will go into genital mutilation much later, but I am against ear piercing of girls, among other things, and I will talk about that. Now then, I'll talk about reality first. Reality, here's the thing about reality, and here's what you don't understand. So much of what you call civilization or reality is stuff that we just made up. It's really not written in stone. And a lot of the way things are made up, I think, is made the way it is to suppress human beings. I don't think that reality has to be as dark as it is. I think things like gender and race and sexual orientation and time and currency and nations, I think a lot of that is made up. I think it's like a matrix. I think that gender is not that different. I think we are all pretty much the same thing on the inside. We're all different people. I don't think the biological differences are as great as some crack like fucking Ben Shapiro might tell you. But he's very good at talking. He's got the gift of gab, and jab rather, however you say the word. I don't have that. Like, I'm not the best talker in the world. I can just tell you what I'm thinking. And he manipulates the language, and he draws everything right around to the way he wants it to be, and he twists and spins things. I'm not as good at that. And there I went, the one person watching me. Wonderful. I gotta fucking do this. But I just want to say, gender and race, race can be a bit more difficult because people spread out. They migrated all over the world, and as they migrated, they became darker, and then they migrated more, they became darker, and then other people became lighter skin, and they grouped together, and this people and these people, and of course that comes back together in the end because it was never real to begin with. So of course everything, just like anything, it forms back together. It all comes back to one, and we all are one on some cosmic level. Like I'm an individualist, but I think at the end of the day, on some cosmic level, we're all one. We're all the same thing. All people, all races, all nations, all nationalities, all genders, all sexual orientations, all religions, you're all one. And I think we can undo that. I think we can undo gender, and I think we can all make ourselves one and end this kind of internal strife and struggle that these rich fuckers are using against us. We can end that, and we can bring ourselves back together, and we can be one. And that is the great goal. But beyond that, I want to get to some of these news stories now. Let's see where they are. OTO in Scotland. I'm using this first because this is kind of my identity and who I am. I am obviously, as you know, I'm a Luciferian humanist. I would not call myself a Satanist. I'm a Luciferian humanist. But Crowley was and Crowley, I'm not sure you could call him out of one. He was a different kind of cat altogether. Very intelligent, very smart individual, brilliant. And this said that he wanted to somehow conspire, like him and the OTO wanted to start up some kind of satanic temple in Scotland. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or what that would detail, but I'm going to go ahead and just call that on the crazy side of things, and that's just conservatives believing what they want. But I know that he was kicked out of Mussolini's. They had the Beluskin house or the Abbey of Lima in Italy, and it was a place where people could be who they are, and it was just a place for free thinking, individuality, free people, free floating personality and identity, including sexuality, and that people did a lot of things. Some of his followers, for some fucking reason, did some really weird shit that he probably did not construct them to do. The media and the press, or rather the magazine rags, whatever, they caught that crap. They picked up on it because they're always ready to get a fucking person to read their shit, and that led to him being kicked out of Mussolini's Italy. And of course, Mussolini was a fascist, anyways. And you have what you have there. But it is interesting that he lasted as long as he did in Italy. I'm not sure it would have lasted that long in today's America, but I'm sure it was a great place to live. And it was a place for individuality, and he was an intelligent person, and he really motivated me watching his stuff, watching his kind of free-flowing individuality, do your own thing, this is kind of groovy, that kind of, and he really helped influence the 60s and the hippie era and the hippie period, and a lot of the good things that did come later on. And a lot of bad things happened, but it wasn't because of him. And you have to look at how bad the world was back in the Victorian era to really understand him. But I'm going to go ahead and call that on the crazy side. I don't agree. But, the point is, I like Crawley. Let me For fuck's sake. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, let's see. The comforting student. Well, first let me talk about this. There's something about 3-year-olds, something about the sterilization of 3-year-olds having to do with the transgender movement. Let me say this, I support transgender children and all transgender people and all transgender issues. And I actually 100% support, I don't support 100%, but I'm more than absolutely open to the estrogen taking of children hitting puberty, that they think they need to take estrogen to be who they are, to be the gender that they are determined to be. I'm not opposed to that. I think there needs to be a little bit more research done into that. How harmful can it be? But the point is, rather, these are 3-year-olds. I don't think, and this is one reason I support gender-neutral parenting. I do not think that you can rather support or understand or know what a fucking 3-year-old thinks about gender, because I don't think a 3-year-old really completely understands gender. They don't know anything about gender. All they know is rather that there's 2 genders. The parents that told them that, they don't really understand it. They're fucking 3-year-olds. And that's one more reason to be against genital mutilation of any gender. A 3-year-old does not understand fucking genital mutilation. But I support gender-neutral parenting, and I support transgenderism. But a 3-year-old cannot have a sexual reassignment surgery if that is what this is talking about, because that is actually worse than circumcision. That is that I'm about to talk about, but that is fucking disgusting. Rather, that is horrible. Even if you are talking about transgenderism, and I don't think a 3-year-old can be transgender. An 11-year-old might know if they're transgender. I do not think a fucking 3-year-old knows. And I don't think you should have a sexual reassignment surgery until you're about 18 years old, because then it's your choice, and and you're an adult, and you can make that decision for yourself. I don't think that's something toddlers should be fucking, deciding. And I mean, at 3 years old, you're practically still an infant. So that's horrible. And I hope they're talking about estrogen, but even then, I would not give estrogen to a 3-year-old. I think that's ridiculous. And I hope this is just some Republican bullshit he's spouting off about. And I don't think this is true, as well as nonsense. But I mean, if that is true, then that is absolutely truly horrific. And I support transgender people in sexual reassignment surgeries if they want to have that, and estrogen and everything else. But not at 3 fucking years old. That is just fucking bullshit, honestly. What else? What was it about Don Lemon? Don Lemon attacks a black pastor, preacher man, preacher, religion, government, religion, never good. But he attacked a black preacher for meeting with Trump. Now, here's my stance on that. I don't think it's good to bring politics and religion together. You're a Christian, you're a Jew, you're a Muslim, you're a rabbi, you're an Islamic cleric, you're a Buddhist monk. Be whatever you want. But I would rather you not bring that together with religion. I think religion should have no place in government or deciding what government policy is. And bringing a preacher into meet the president, that to me reeks of fascism and of really bad things. So I don't approve of that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. But I don't know the details. Epstein is somebody. They may be a larger nationwide pedophile ring than we thought there was. That is absolutely a probability. And Epstein is someone who committed horrible fucking crimes. Who probably significantly abused children. This is not some pervert asshole. This is a really very, very disgusting person. But I don't know the details or what happened. But I will say this. He needs to be put in a prison for a very long time. And anyone that did this on that island should be dealt with. And this is the one place where American interventionism really is exceptional. That should not be allowed. But at the same time, I don't believe any of these rage, kind of lynch mob people. I don't think he should be castrated. I wouldn't kill him, but he should be put in prison and probably never let out. And he's pretty damn old anyway, so who gives a shit? He'll die sooner than later. Supposedly he almost killed himself, or somebody else almost killed him. Again, whatever. But I would not execute him, and I wouldn't cut his dick off. I would just put him in a goddamn prison and he can stay on the rest of his life. But yeah, he's a monster. I agree. And if there are more people implicated in this, and there's some very high, powerful, rich people implicated in this, and in that case, they deserve whatever they deserve what they did. All right. QAnon. QAnon. There's something about QAnon. It's something, anyways. It may bring down conservatives. And I forget exactly what I was talking about, but there's nothing about QAnon that is specifically rather conservative. I have always seen them as simply that they're there to show what's going on in the world. If it's a liberal doing something bad, they'll show you. If it's a conservative doing something bad, they'll show you. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe QAnon is some kind of conservative right-wing party that's trying to fuck us all. But I don't think they are, and they were right in a lot of what they have leaked, and it's good that they're leaking things. And I also think a lot of it's sensationalist. I think they're a lot like any other media organization. They won't clicks and they won't views, and people do that. And I don't really check them out, know much about them. It wasn't even that long ago I knew anything about them. But I'm not against them. I'm not, QAnon. I mean, that's crazy. Whatever. Let's see what else. Kamala Harris. Yeah, they're trying to wrap array a lot of her prior criminal actions that she had committed, and she laughed at smoking marijuana. And what is that fucking chick's name? I feel like an idiot. The chick, she's from Hawaii. I think she's the representative of Hawaii, Hawaii girl, and the Hawaii chick, And I'm sorry if that's offensive. I talk in slang. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. Okay, Hawaii. She's a Hawaiian female from the district of Hawaii. I don't fucking know. Anyway, she asked her, you put so many fucking people in prison for things like smoking marijuana, and then when we asked you yourself, had you ever smoked marijuana, you laughed about it. And she asked Kamala Harris that. And like that, to me, one of the most truthful moments of the entire fucking election. And she has said a lot of controversial things. Other people do not have the fucking balls or the vagina or whatever other body part you want to use as a metaphor. They don't have the guts or their soul to say it. She does. And she may be the best person for the job. And she may be the first female president. And if she is, good. She probably should be. I have no problem with that woman. I subscribe to her. I said some positive things about her. I know that doesn't matter. I'm an idiot. But I did, and I support her. Okay, so, Let's see what else. Coveting students. Yeah. Again, these are not adult men. They were, 15, 16-year-old kids. They are on a field trip. I know they're Christians and they were against abortion. I'm not approving of that. I'm not against abortion. But, you should not treat children the same way you do adults. They did not know any better. There's a guy beating a drum in their face. If that was an adult and he was doing that, I still wouldn't understand why he was doing it. But an adult man can understand this is a senior citizen and an elder in his community, and it was a minority community that has probably went through quite a lot. And he could very easily just say to himself, look, it's not worth it. I don't know what's going on here. These are kids. They don't know what's going on. They're trying to get through this the best way possible. And you attack them and threaten their lives and everything else on the internet. And it's not okay to treat people who are still pretty much children. They're not that far away from childhood. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. We're all stupid when we're teenagers. It's not okay to treat children that way. So go fuck yourself. And I hope they win. It's bullshit. They haven't already won. You screwed them, and it's not okay what you did. So there's that. Okay, that's it. Now then, talk about genital mutilation. One thing I do want to talk about is these people. First of all, that they say, or they talk about rather, one reason we had our child mutilated is we did not want to clean his penis. Well, first of all, I am sorry for you, but if you feel that fucking way, maybe you should not fucking, I don't know, have a kid. I don't want to do that either. You know what? I don't have a kid. Don't have any plans of getting one. But if you have a kid, then goddamn it, you know what? It's not their fault. They should not be fucking tortured because you don't want to fucking do something that you're completely responsible for, and they had no choice in. And it's stupid anyways because you don't have to do that in childhood. That's something that goes along and starts happening later in life at an older age. You have to pull your dick back. You might have to teach them how to do that one or twice. It's not something that's really done very much. And all you have to do really is run water over it mostly. You don't have to do all that. And if they tell you to do that, don't listen to them because they're probably telling you that so something will happen with the dick. You'll have to do it later because they probably want you to do that. That's something that happens at some point later in childhood. You run water over them. You rush it a little and you leave it alone. Do you want to know what happens when you do circumcise your child? You have gauze tape wrapped around it, bandages and shit, bloody shit. It's starting to scab over. It's trying to heal. You have a fresh room on each child's genitals to now take care of, and that doesn't. Maybe it's not as much to take care of for as long of a period of time, but for whatever part of period of time, and it's longer for some children than others. It's a hell of a damn period of time, and it's a hell of a thing to have to do. And it's absolutely fucking disgusting. It's a lot worse than a fucking foreskin, even if you did have to roll it back. And you're changing their diapers. You're having to clean shit and piss and everything else anyways. And that's another problem because the blood and the shit and everything can get in their fucking flesh rooms, and it could cause something a hell of a lot worse than UTI. It can cause that, and it can also cause them to lose their penis. Their penis can rot off after the genital mutilation. They can die or be castrated not only from the genital mutilation itself, but from the flesh wounds and the shit that happens to them afterwards. So there is no reason for that. And I remember even when I was still I hated circumcision. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't think about it. Like as a child, probably like younger than 12, I saw there's a show called Cheers or whatever that was. It's like a show about a bunch of people in a bar, and there was this woman who said this really dumb thing about that no one wanted to go to a fucking bris, and she's like, oh well, you don't want to. You're too cowardly to experience a little bit of pain that isn't even your own. And here's what pissed me off about that. It was a line that's not even your own. You're talking about a child. The fact that they don't want to experience pain that's not even their own isn't a bad thing. That's better. That's actually better than being worried about your own pain. They're worried about someone else's fucking pain. That's called altruism, you idiot. And I was turned off by that, and I changed the channel. That's proof right there, proof solid religion in this case, and just the entire capitalistic religious nation of this fucking country, the cannibalistic nation, the social darwinistic shit that goes on in this country, the social darwinistic nature of this country has corrupted you, and it turned you off from a soul. How can you have not just cold blood, but you don't have any blood in? 1 minute. You don't just have cold blood. You don't have any blood in you. If you're not sick and disgusted, and you're not trembling and or really, really uncomfortable or just from hearing this shit, it's fucked up and it's wrong, and it's especially wrong when you're putting it on TV and I have to see this shit. I don't even want to think about it. It's fucked up. Stop doing this to your fucking kids. P666.